No, but it was working.
Is it on here?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Can I ask you to start taking a seat, please? Thank you.
It does.
I don't know. I was standing I can view the screen. I've been sitting
There's some very nice seats here in the front. Okay. So they don't get too lonely here. All right, fantastic. This is what we and especially the staff have been working on for almost a year. It's a fantastic evening, and I'm really happy to get on to kick this off. My name is Ylva, and I'm the chairperson for SE Forum, and I'm really happy to see all of you guys here. So there's been a lot of hard work poured into this process, getting up to this point, and there's been a record. I don't know if you heard that, but in applications to the outreach program. So we got 450 applications. So the pictures you're going to see here tonight, that's really the top of that bunch. We have very high expectations, and I'm sure that we met as well. And before we hear them, I just want to thank obviously SIDA, who's making this possible, funding the program, and then also the staff team. So Maew, that you're here from very shortly, David and Carlos, I'm not sure if they're around back there, that fantastic team are the people that make all of this happen. So now a big hand for Maew and her team.
SE Forum exists because we believe that social entrepreneurs have the power to change the world. And we believe with the right tools, social entrepreneurs can sustain those change. That is actually why we do SE Outreach Accelerator. We believe that the great people with the great ideas and the great business can have the right tools to be able to expand their business, expand their impact, and make real change to this world. This is talking about business that goes beyond CSR. We're talking about business that exists because they are created, because they believe that they can change the world. And I think you're gonna agree with me after you hear from these 8 fantastic people that the staff feel so privileged to spend a week with last week in Sigtuna. Actually, all of us keep saying to ourselves, oh my God, we're spending 8 weeks with these people. That's so good. And you know, I don't want to say too much about us. You can check us out on social media. You can read about us on the website. You can sign up to be our members with a simple sign-up sheet here. Of course, you can do it on the website as well, but we're going to pass this around. So join us to support what we're doing. And well, I think I'm going to hand it over to the people who you all here to listen to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Of course, we won't have this space without our really great host, the Impact Hub, where we have our office space, and also who kindly partner with us to provide the space for all the entrepreneurs over the next 7 weeks. I think someone from the hub will be just giving a quick introduction what Impact Hub is. So this is where you're sitting now. It's a co-working space where SE Forum has an office and all the entrepreneurs have the office over the next 7 weeks.
So thank you. To explain basically what we do here, we have this co-working space where we have classical entrepreneurs and also social entrepreneurs working with us. And we also have the chance to host events like this one tonight. We have a little coffee tomorrow morning if you would like to join us as well and discover also more about the members that we have here. If you want to know more, we have a few people here you can answer the question. Katya back there and Elsa in the corner. We have a little tradition when we start events. Basically, I'm going to ask you to turn to the person next to you and tell them where you want to travel for your next vacation and why.
You can talk about later. Thank you. And also, I just want to announce that's the first for everything. And our fantastic team of staff has created some technical genius, and we are streaming this live on YouTube. So we can reach all our followers all over the world. I think I'm going to invite the first speaker up.
Hi everyone. It is 8 p.m. a young couple step out of a movie theater and decide to return home by bus. And they board a bus with a few people on it. Sometime during that journey, they are attacked by the very same people on the bus, a group of young men who've been drinking. They first attack the man, beat him up and tie him up. Then they attack the woman, rape her over and over and over again. The bus is still moving. And after every man has taken his turn with that woman, they shove metal rods into her private parts, pull out her intestines, and throw her out of that moving vehicle onto the street, leaving her to die. This, my friends, is an incident that took place not too long ago in a pretty decent neighborhood in New Delhi, the capital of India. This incident shocked the entire country, and this incident also shocked me. And it was after this that I started to take more active participation and discussion on the topic of sexual violence. And I was surprised that every friend of mine had actually experienced some form of it, at least once in their life. Yet, until then, none of us had spoken about it, even to each other. And I decided I had to do something about it. I just had to. So as I dug deeper, I realized that this problem was pretty widespread. UN Women states that 1 in 3 women across the world experience some form of sexual assault at least once in their lifetime. That's 1 in 3 women. And this statistic is much higher in India. Yet, 80% of us choose not to talk about it. We choose not to talk about it for fear of bringing shame to ourselves and our families, fear of dealing with the police, and fear of the lengthy judicial system for justice. And this underreporting and undercommunication of the issue has led to a situation where the perpetrator becomes bolder and bolder over time because he goes unchallenged. And the official statistics do not reflect the true nature and size of the problem. So I decided to use data and technology to get people to break their silence and report on this issue. I decided to use data and technology to make public spaces safer and more accessible to all. So a few days after that horrific rape in Delhi, my friends and I launched Safecity. It is a crowd map where we encourage people to share their personal experiences, not only of sexual violence, but also of petty crime in public spaces, anonymously. And these then get collated as location-based trends, which are visualized on a map as hotspots. So since December 2012, we've been collecting all this information, not only in India, but also in Nepal. And it's been pretty useful. For individuals, they've used it in several ways to connect with each other, share their stories, become bolder to confront the perpetrator, but also giving them information for their own personal safety in terms of routing or transportation options. The police have used our data. They've actually changed their beat patrol timings in a particular place in Bombay where the crime rate has reduced drastically. And we've been helping communities use this data to find local solutions for their problems. Take, for example, this girl. She's a 13-year-old girl in an urban village in Delhi. And she and her friends at an art-based workshop that we conducted decided that there was a hotspot where men would congregate and intimidate the women passing by. And they said, can we change that? And through this wall mural where they painted staring eyes and subtle messaging, they were actually able to eliminate the loitering and reduce the constant male gaze, enabling them to walk peacefully to school, college, or work. So ladies and gentlemen, if you believe, like I do, that every individual has the right to walk down the street without being harassed, or be in a public space without being in fear of their lives, then please come and talk to me. And my name is Elsa. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your interesting talk. I'm just wondering, how do you authenticate people when they report? How can you make sure that a particular record is legitimately put into the system?
So
At the same time, make sure that it's anonymous.
crowdsourcing works on the principle that we look at larger data trends. So we don't work on individual cases, and if we do get them, we pass them on to another NGO or organization that would address them. But we look at the larger data trends. So if it is an outlier, this may Is there any other question?
Have people approached you directly for any specific cases?
Yes. So have people approached us directly to solve cases? Yes. We work on cases regarding public safety, but we don't work on domestic violence or sexual harassment, and those cases have come to us and we pass them on to another organization that could provide the right support and help to them.
How big is the organization?
How many people? There's just 3 of us working full-time, and we work with a lot of volunteers all over India as well as some abroad. I think we can take questions at the end.
We will have more time for questions at the end, and also more time to talk to Elsa directly.
Thank you very much.
We have such a full house.
Sorry, it's my first time to use this. My name is Eric Muthomi. I'm from Kenya. My business is in food processing. Kenya is a country that highly depends on agriculture for both incomes and jobs for women and youth. Yet, majority of Kenyans in farming communities are poor because the agricultural sector has not been commercialized to generate decent incomes for farmers. So the problem that we are addressing relates to low incomes that are affecting farmers with a focus on the banana value chain. So the solution that my company, Stawi Foods and Fruits, offers is we have a model where we give ownership to the farmers to participate in the production process. So this involves a process where we have 300 farmers. They supply bananas for processing from their own farms, and they participate in the processing of the bananas by cleaning, peeling, slicing, and drying in a greenhouse dryer using natural heat from the sun. Then Stawi Foods collects the chips, and we crush them into gluten-free banana flour that is used for baking of gluten-free pastries like cakes and bread. The impact that we are having is, number one, in giving incomes to the farmers. So our farmers earn 50% more than they earn by selling to middlemen. The second is in creating jobs for women and youth in rural and urban Kenya, at the farms and at our factory in Nairobi. And the third is in supplying nutritious products like this one, which is a baby porridge, to consumers in Kenya that gives them added nutrition at an affordable price. In terms of support, we are looking to raise $300,000 that will go into training of our farmers to build the capacity. The second area will be in processing equipment that we need to boost our capacity for production. And the third is in improving our operations in Nairobi. In terms of technical assistance, we need support from experts that can help us improve our business operations and assistance in certification. For example, ISO that can help us access international markets for our products. I'll take your questions. Thanks a lot. Yes?
Do you know roughly how many people you are reaching by now? And do you have how many you could reach within a certain amount of time?
Yes, at the moment we are supporting 300 banana farmers in Eastern Kenya and 1,000 families indirectly because each household has an average of 3 members. Then the plan in 2015 and 2016 is to access or to support 2,400 farmers in central Kenya through a project we have with government and a major donor in Nairobi. Yes, the customers are mainly retail outlets in the country. So your large retailers like Ika, for example, and then smaller retailers in the city and exports. We have an export customer in Europe for the banana club. Yeah, so in terms of actual numbers, we would classify that in terms of the retail outlets that we supply to. Yes.
Do you plan on expanding into other, using other fruits or plants to use food from? So what are they?
Yes, so at the moment, the biggest ingredient we use is the banana, but we have other ingredients. For example, this product is made of maize, soybean, wheat. We also utilize sorghum, and we're starting to develop products that utilize sweet potato for producing gluten-free baking flour.
And do you see your market being East Africa, mainly because of the rising middle class, or do you actually see going towards Europe as an exporting market?
Okay, the markets, we've categorized them as the local market in Kenya, mainly for this product and family porridge, and the East African market for the porridge, and other African markets, for instance, Nigeria, that has a big population that could be attractive for the baby food. For the gluten-free product, we are targeting markets that have gluten-free demand, like in Europe or USA.
Okay, thank you. You can hold on to everything.
Sit on. Hi, hello. Hi everyone. Yeah. Good. Okay. So I'm Luan, and actually I'm coming here today with a deal for you. So let's say you're on your holiday, and this time you travel to Vietnam. And Vietnam, one of the tourists' favorite activities is to take a day trip to a rural village. At that village, you'll find a beautiful green paddy field nestled between the mountains. On the paddy field, there will be some local families working together happily. So the men are plowing with the water buffaloes. The women and the children are planting the seedlings onto the ground. So now, if you choose to go on a normal day trip like that, this is what you do. You get off the bus, say hello, take a few pictures, then leave. So now here is my offer. You go on such a trip, but instead of just taking pictures, you'll be welcomed by this lady at her own house, where she shares with you her story. Maybe she will show you how to make some yummy traditional dumplings, take you to her farm, and let you try your hands on a farm work like this. And by that, you already give her the opportunity to make a better life for her and for her children. How can that happen? It is because this woman, after your trip, will receive a small loan with very low interest, funded directly from the tour fee to start a business by herself. She will receive also a lot of technical support, trainings on agriculture, on business planning, on basic accounting, so that she will develop the business. And for you, as traveler, after your holiday, when you go back to your country, you also hear from her. You will also receive regular updates on how she's doing with the business. So you will know how your traveling money continues making an impact to her livelihoods. So that is basically what we do in Microventures. So why we do it? You know that tourism is now a very big industry in developing countries. Each year, tourism generates $300 billion in all developing countries as revenue. $300 billion. But how much of that money go towards the local community? For example, if you say take a day trip like this, like a normal day trip, how many percentage of your tour fee go to the village? Almost nothing. Yes. So that is the fact that we want to change, because we believe that even a small portion of your traveling money, if going to the right person, can make a huge change to not only the life of that individual, but also to their families and their children's future. We also believe that tourism shouldn't only benefit only the big international travel companies, hotel owners, restaurant owners, but also should go towards making the local destination a better world, especially if you travel to an underprivileged community. So how we do it? We organize tours to the countryside in Vietnam, and we use the tour fee to provide microfinance and trainings and capability building programs to the local women to empower them, to give them the opportunity to change their lives by themselves. So my friends, you share with me the belief that you can and you want the money you spend on your holiday towards making the world a better place. Just come to talk to me. I would love to hear from you. Thank you. We have a website where you can sign up and you book directly the trip. Actually, we have been running it for about 3 years now. We are on TripAdvisor on Lonely Planet, so we are there for you to find. Yes.
What kind of projects you are employing them to do? Is it related to agriculture or something?
Good question. We give the decision to our borrowers, so she can choose if she wants to do it with like farming or non-farming activities. So for example, our loans start at 700 corners. And with 700 corners, the woman can start either by investing in 2 piglets or 50 chickens or 50 ducks to start with. And like what she wants to do is decided by her with our support, our consultants. Thank you. I think we have some time after this, and I will be welcome if you have any more questions.
We'll get more questions after this.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I'll explain these pictures later. Imagine a rural area of Pakistan. Imagine an area where people have to wait in a long queue just to charge their mobile phones. Imagine an old man waiting in a long queue just to charge his mobile phone. And imagine an old man who is selling newspaper on a big busy highway, and there is a lot of traffic, smoke, and air pollution, but he has to do it. He has to do it because he has to take care of his family. Now, I come from the same area of Pakistan. I struggled and studied in the same environment. An environment where we have to wait for the electricity to study and to prepare for our exams because there's so much load shedding going on. Now, when I graduated first, I started working in a government organization. We used to develop, work on different energy development projects in different areas of Pakistan. But very soon, I realized that we're doing nothing at all. We're wasting our time, and the progress is very slow. So I decided to quit. I did. And I started my own company. The company from where we provide cheap clean energy solutions to the people, to the community of the people who don't have access to clean energy, or to what government can't provide them, clean electricity. This is one of our products. So just imagine if you're standing by the side of a highway and a high-speed car passes you by, you feel that air thrust. But just imagine if you could capture that air thrust to generate electricity. Imagine if you could use that air thrust to purify smoke air on the highways. But that's exactly what we have done. We have developed this hybrid micro wind turbine that is able to harvest both solar and wind energy, and we place them by the side of highways, metroways, high-speed railway tracks to harvest the turbulence and generate electricity. And this micro wind turbine cannot only generate electricity, but they can also absorb the carbon footprint on the highways, through which we can reduce the air pollution on the highways, through which people are affected. And the electricity generated from these turbines, we supply them to the nearby villages or the community who don't have access to electricity. Apart from that, we have this product called Solar Tree. With this down there are the charging points for the mobile phones. We plant them in different rural areas of Pakistan through which people can charge their mobile phones, and they don't have to wait in a long queue, or they don't have to walk long distance just to charge their mobile phones. Because we believe that everyone has a right to breathe in the fresh air and have access to clean energy. If you believe in our mission, please support us, and we can talk later about it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your talk. Who is your customer? Who is paying for these wonderful products?
So we're supplying these units to different rural community where we get different grants to plant these units in different community areas. We don't get charged from any people in the rural area.
So
we just supply them and they get access to them.
So you get government grants?
Yeah. This device, this is a fiberglass material over here. It's more lighter than plastic itself, so it's very lightweight. Yeah.
How much electricity? How much electricity can it produce?
So the one unit can produce 200 watts.
And this part of the street, can they have access to this part and charge their mobile, because it seems like very dangerous place?
No, so this is the big highway. So we plot these units together and combine them and supply the electricity to the nearby village. Because what happens is most of the highways, there are like a couple of hawkers who are selling different things on the highways, and they live nearby and they don't have access to electricity. So we just combine them together. It's just like combining a big solar power plant that small units are connected together. So we just connect them together and supply them the electricity.
They have input for energy and then this output.
Yeah, yeah.
Great, thank you. We can have a chance to ask you more questions.
Hello. A very good evening to every one of you. It's good to see people from so many countries, cultures, backgrounds, all sitting in one room. But I would like to start off by asking a simple question. How many of us have bank cards? Can you just raise your hand? Bank cards, basic bank cards. ATM cards? Yeah, everybody, right? I don't think there's not a single person who doesn't have one. These small things, these cards, they make our life so much easier, right? We pay our bills, our expenses, we do online shopping, in-store shopping, and we sometimes get so used to these services that we sometimes take it for granted. We feel like this should come as a natural, something natural that we are used to it, right? Now think for 1 second that you do not have a bank account at all. Think that you are paid in cash and you have to carry that cash all the time. Think, where are you going to put that money? Somewhere you are going to hide it in your room. Right? You are going to put it in your pocket, move around. Not to mention the social exposure to social violence that it might cause, like robbery, snatching, mugging, etc. So these are the things that we sometimes, as modern day people, use the technology and we forget that there might be some people who do not have access to these basic services. So the country that I come from, Bangladesh, there are about 50 million people. Every 2 out of 10 people do not have access to a traditional bank account. So these people have to carry their cash, have to send money to their family in a very traditional way of like courier companies or informal channels. And what they do, they are exposing themselves also to all these social violences. And think how it will feel like where you have banks who have a lack of interest to serving these potential customers because of their low income status. Now, my name is Shezan, and I come from Bangladesh, and I am in the business of giving alternative banking services through low-cost prepaid smart cards to these low-income segments group of my country, which is which belong to the age group of 18 to 55. Imagine, have you ever witnessed the joy of seeing someone using an ATM for the first time in their life? For someone doing an online transaction for the first time in their life, and the joy that you can see in that person's eyes when the product is in their doorstep, and they're like, voila. It's like magic. right? So I'm in the business, and that's what I do every day. And if you feel that you would like to know more about my cause, feel free. I'm just right there on the corner. Thank you. Yes, please.
Yes, I have a question. Is this just a cheaper variety of standard cards, or what is the value added in this compared to total cards we all have in this room?
Yes. Whatever services that your MasterCard or Visa card is giving, these cards have all the same services. It has ATM access, it has online transaction capabilities, merchant shopping. It has, but at a rate that is, if I say it in kroners, it is like half a kroner per card. So the population, the target segment that I'm talking to, they earn around 1,000 kroners per month. So spending half a kroner for a card, which in case of a normal Visa MasterCard in our country would have cost them around 200, 300 kroners. This is a much more better option for them. No, we give the banking services, like the cash in and the cash out services to these people through agents situated all over the countries, and we through POS terminals, and we provide them POS terminals to the agents. So what we do is we convert the bank branch, because there are no bank branches in those rural areas. These small grocery shops are now acting as bank tellers through the channel that we give them.
It comes for free, right? So there must be some production costs. Who's funding it?
The financial charges that we have some charges. We charge around 1% when the first time they put in the money, and then we charge. So for every 100 kroner, we charge 1 kroner to put the money in the card, and then they can start using the card. So because of the economies of scale, the huge market, it's justifiable and scalable.
One more question.
The point of sales, how they are serving this? Is it only online, or you are also providing these small devices where they can swipe it?
We provide small devices to the local grocery shops who, for a commission on the charges that we charge 1%. Of that 1%, 60% of that revenue goes to those grocery shops so that they can sustain. So this is how we have developing a whole countrywide network.
How you are handling the connectivity for these devices?
We have it's the POS terminals are working on SIM cards, so it's the GPS. So wherever there is mobile connection, these machines act as they can do whatever a bank computer teller can do. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm testing this because it's quite scary to use it. This is my first time to use it. So I'm called Ikalany. I come from Uganda, one of the countries in East Africa, and I am happy to be here today to share my project with all of us who have been here. For the little time that I've been in Sweden, this is my first time in Sweden, but for the little time I've been here, right from the airport up to the hotel where I was staying, and then the hub, I was looking around, I wanted to see what type of energy is here, and I realized that most of the people have access to electricity, and then I was asking somebody, how do you cook? What do you use for cooking? Do you also use firewood? And they're telling us now we have electricity. So I just want us to imagine if in this hub we had to set 3 stones there and use firewood for warming our food at lunchtime when we're cooking. Just imagine the smoke that will come out of there. Or when you want to cook, you have to move 10 kilometers to look for firewood and then come and cook lunch, then go back to your computer and start doing your work. Just imagine that. Just try to imagine that. Just try to help you see what I'm going to talk about. So I come from Uganda, and that's exactly what happens in Uganda. Uganda has a population of 37 million people, according to the population census of 2014. However, only 3% have access to electricity or gas. Only 3%. That means the remaining 97% rely on firewood and wood charcoal. Yes, they rely on firewood. But what is the problem here? The firewood is getting so scarce. The charcoal is getting so expensive, and the poor person cannot afford. So this forces many women and young girls walk long distances to look for firewood. And during this journey, sometimes they get assaulted by wild animals, or even people who rape them while they're in the isolated bushes. And then also, when they bring the firewood home, the firewood emits a lot of smoke, and this is dangerous for their health. According to the Global Alliance for Clean Cookstoves, 13,000 Ugandans die every year because of inhaling smoke from cookstoves. This pain of losing 13,000 people every year, and then the fact that these young girls have to stay at home to look for firewood while other children are at school, really made me feel that it has to stop. And it's only going to stop if we do something. So I decided to start up a project with 2 of my friends to find a solution to this scarcity of fuel. So we have an enterprise that recycles agricultural waste. We are recycling granite husks to make clean fuel for those poor households that cannot afford electricity or afford gas for cooking that they need to eat. So we make what we call charcoal briquettes out of agricultural waste. And this is clean fuel because it's smokeless, and then also it burns for long. And since we get the raw materials are readily available, so we find that we sell them cheaper. So every household can be able to afford this fuel for cooking. And then even the schools now have seen how good this fuel is because it's cutting on the cost of fuel. So the schools have also started adopting using the fuel. With this, we're able to ensure that these girls can continue to go back to school. I mean, to go to school like any other child. The women can also have time to do other things other than carrying firewood every day. And then they're able to cook in a very clean kitchen because there's no smoke. And we're saving lives. So I believe that everyone has a right to have clean fuel for cooking and to have food every day. There's no reason as to why you should have 1 meal a day just because you cannot afford fuel. And the second issue that we realized was that merchants were making the fuel, but they needed a cook stove that is fuel efficient. I mean, that saves energy so that they use little of this fuel and they're able to use for a longer time. So we also make cook stoves. Our enterprise is managed by women because the women are the ones in our culture who cook, and they're the ones who know the problems. So we make the cook stoves and make charcoal briquettes. We sell to poor families and also to institutions that need this. And then apart from that, we feel that our enterprise is creating jobs for the women who may never have got a chance to get a job because they're illiterate. They don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, but they can work in this and they have started their own businesses. If you look at that lady, she's one of the people, she's a retail, I mean, she helps us distribute the charcoal. She started her own enterprise. But before she started, she didn't have capital to buy the briquettes from us and sell. So we give them the initial inventory. Then after that, the commission that they get from selling it, they start buying from us and they're able to sell and they start their own enterprise to support their families. And that girl behind there has gone back to school. But otherwise, the mother had withdrawn her to take care of the home as the mother struggles to look for food. Now that she can sell her charcoal and keep the baby, the girl can go back to school. So I believe that if you think that every woman has a right to cook in a clean kitchen without any smoke, that these young girls need to go to school just like any other child, let's talk about it and see how we can make this project larger. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Can you talk a little bit about the charcoal cook stove design and how you came up with it and where you learned how to produce that particular type of cook stove?
Yeah, this cook stove, in fact, the cook stove that we have now, the design has changed. This was our initial cook stove that we just make outside is a metallic lining. We just recycle iron sheets, like when you roof your house, then what remains is what we recycle to make the outside lining, and then the inside lining is clay, which we bake to make so that that clay, when it gets hot, it can save energy. So you find that you're able to use very little charcoal. But now we have even improved on the shape because this one had a wide opening and therefore energy we were losing energy. So we improved it such that you use little charcoal, but you're also saving the energy. You're not losing a lot. So we have a new design, except that we didn't put it here, but you're free to see our new design. But we learned it from the community. We just decided to sit down and say, what would really work well? And then we also saw around what other people are making and said, how can we improve on this so that it works in our area? And then secondly, we also designed our cook stove according to the food we cook. In the area where I come, we eat what we call ugali. So you need a lot of energy to mingle it. And therefore we need a farmer cook stove. So we had to design a cook stove so that it's able and stable to be able to withhold the pressure from the saucepan as you make it. And they are made by the women themselves. They assemble, paint, and do everything and distribute.
So, you mentioned that the review is made from recycled items. How efficient
What do you mean by efficient? What do you mean? Our charcoal briquettes are very hot and they have been tested. We're working in partnership with MIT, the lab, that's a university in the US, and they have helped us test our briquettes. And they have been sent to Global Alliance of Clean Cook Stoves to see if they meet the international standards. And I think the results are good because they are hot and you just need very little. And then they have blue flame. Blue flame shows that that fire is hot. So I think, according to the feedback from the community and the customers, they are really working almost the same level with wood charcoal. Okay. For more questions, you can discuss later. Thank you.
Hi everybody, good evening. I'm Flaviano, I come from Italy. It's the wine that you are enjoying. But today I will tell you the story of a community far away called Kanande Kachiyaku. Kanande Kachiyaku is one of the most remote places on earth. It's in the middle of the Amazon forest and you need 1 week of travel to get there. Between gravel road, rivers, smaller rivers and everything. Kanande Kachiyaku in their indigenous language, Shipibo Konibo, means the lake with a lot of fishes. When I get there for the first time 4 years ago, in the lake there were no more fishes because this one was the lake. A British oil company that were producing $40 million of revenues every year from those activities had 88 oil wells inside the territory of the community. And when we get there in 2011, the median age of death of the population was 28 years. So raise your hand, all of you that are older than 28 years. Women included. So imagine that all of you were there. And the other half were suffering about 60% of them about gastrointestinal disease. And that is not just a common, just not just an isolated case. It's not just there. There are 17,000 communities all around Latin America that suffer from pollution from extractive industries. If you live in Cerro de Pasco, in the mining city of Cerro de Pasco, and you drink the water from the tap, you will finally drink this amount of aluminum, the can, every 45 days. That means 8 cans every year. So now you're thinking that at least those communities should be somehow rich because they are producing resources. But I can make a long list of countries that are based on raw materials like Republic Democratic of Congo, Ecuador, Bolivia, Ghana. None of them are rich. You know how much the community of Kananega-Chiago was receiving as a compensation for the use of the land? $9,000 a year. For 1,600 inhabitants, it means $7 a day, a year for every inhabitant. It's more or less one pizza. That is our Italian way of measurement. Today, for every dollar that we give in foreign aid to developing countries, there are $9 that we take out from those countries in natural resources. 1 to 9. So, 9 years ago, I was in Italy in a conference, I was in your place, and this place was a Guatemalan lady that was talking about all these issues in her country. And she was talking about with a very emotional and intense speech, but without data, with no data at all. So at the end of the conference, I go to her and I say to her, well, you need some data because I can easily challenge you without data. So she said, well, we don't have access to scientific data because no scientists want to work with us. They are afraid to lose their job with the private sector. So I say, well, I will be the first. That was November 2005. I graduated in science in 2010, in December. In December 2009, I rose up $10,000 in January, and in February, I went to Guatemala and spent 1 year and a half in Guatemala, Honduras, and Salvador, getting evidence about mining pollution in those countries. Then I come back to study and another project, and 6 years later, I become a Shoka Fellow and I founded Source International. What Source International does is what we have done in Kananega-Chiago again. I will tell you with the story of Kanan again. We get there 4 years ago. We started work together with communities about pollution, health impact, and human rights abuse caused by extractive industry, by oil extraction in that case. And we have been able, together with the community, to obtain a negotiation table between the community, the company, and the regional government. And we have obtained a cleaning plan, new source of water for the community, and a compensation of $900,000 a year for the community of Kananega-Chiago. That is not exactly the same thing that harming your environment as was before, but it's actually something. So we have done this right now in 18 communities all over the world. Not all 18, I just answer your question, have been so successful as Kanan, but we are continuing to do it. That is what Source International do. Thank you. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Did you have any conversation with the main person?
Well, so the first step is a direct negotiation. That means they are involved somehow. So it's a direct negotiation. It means sit on a table and discuss. If it does not work, we go to several lobby and advocacy instruments, or what we call the normally public shame. If it does not work, then the last resort is a lawsuit. So yes, in some case, we had some contacts. Sorry.
I'm curious to know how it works with the community. Are you then empowering them to be able to have a sort of participatory monitoring and assessment on their own? Or do you just sort of set up instruments remotely, gather the data? Or
well, actually, we we work on both sides. So from one side, and this is our main, I would say the main topic, is capacitate them in order to perform a basic environmental and social monitoring system of activities of extractive industries, so they can be monitoring some human rights violations, some social issues, some health issues, and environment, especially water. And from the other side, we perform high-level scientific studies as the same that they have access to the companies or the government, but for the community. So we have two levels of work. They give us the same results, but the community, with a training of normally between 2 weeks, 2 and 4 weeks, the community is able to perform a basic monitoring system. So I don't want to go to the detail, but they cannot measure like the lead in your hair, for example, just to make an example. They can measure the pH of the water, so the acidity of the water, but they cannot measure the accumulation of metal in your blood because it takes several years of study. It's not something you can learn in 4 weeks. So they perform a basic one, and we do on it our high-level scientific.
Yeah. How are you able to use your information in the absence of political will and corruption?
Well, I don't think we have enough time to discuss all this. It would be pretty long. That's quite a big deal, but that's one point. If you have solid evidences, so you can avoid the political corruption, go to international courts, for example, or international standards, or international mechanisms that are less corrupted, or I would say not corrupted, as sometimes the local one.
Thank you. You can talk to Flaviano later.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Neelam, and I want you all to take a moment to think about your favorite childhood memory. Most of you in this room are thinking about a playtime with your friends. Play does leave the deepest impact on a person's mind and is also one of our brain's favorite ways of learning. Now hold that thought. Take another moment to reflect on what you think is your best skill that helps you succeed in everyday life. Communication skills, creativity, being a team player. Did you learn these from books? No. These are called life skills, and you learn them through experience. In fact, research shows that when life skills are given to children from poor families, they will be able to break the cycle of poverty. That is what I am doing at Khel Planet. Khel is a Hindi word for play. If we take this play here and use it to teach life skills, would it help deeper learning? Yes. So we work with underprivileged children in India, teach them life skills through play, games, and activities. These life skills are taught to children between the ages of 6 years and 14 years when they are starting to form their social and mental habits. There are about 105 million children in India who live below the poverty line. We are based in Uttar Pradesh, the poorest state where the need is maximum. How do we do it? There are two approaches. We conduct play workshops in schools, in low-cost schools and underprivileged communities, and we are designing and publishing card games and board games based on life skills. Why am I the right person to do this? I grew up in a low-income neighborhood in India. I'm lucky to be standing here in front of you because I had teachers who helped me succeed in life. My best friend growing up, however, was not so lucky. Her teachers did not believe in her. Her mom is illiterate, and she struggles to make ends meet even today. I am committed to taking this luck out of the equation and make sure that every single child has the opportunity to succeed in life. The picture you see here is of Sana. She is 7 years old, and she's scared of going to school. When we asked her, she said, "My friend was thrown out of school because she had no school uniform and shoes. My parents cannot afford shoes for me." We are working with Sana and 300 such underprivileged children to build their self-esteem so that they can challenge the status quo and become the change agents for their communities. We are on a mission to reach 1 million children over the next 5 years. And I hope you can join us on this journey. That's a long question. I can give you the current status. The current size of my team is 4 full-time working people, and we work with 10 volunteers. Again, people who are either based in India or abroad. They give us their time in terms of volunteer. So we are crowd ideating our content. We are not sitting on the content ourselves and creating it. We get engineers, architects, moms, teachers, children themselves to crowd ideate the games and content with us. We also have corporate volunteers who come in and help us conduct workshops with children, because we cannot. If I'm standing in front of the classroom, I'm only limiting my own scale. So we have volunteers who are doing that for us. How many more people we need? I mean, there are more than 105 million children whom we wish to reach, and whatever support we can get in terms of volunteering, partnering, funding is all welcome. We are open to all kinds of partnerships. I hope I answered this.
One more quick one. Now we're going to open up for all of you to ask questions to any of the speakers today. And I invite all of you.
All right, so we have a 50. I'm going to jump on there. See awesome people. First of all, I think we should give them all a big round of applause for incredible. Now you begin to understand why we keep calling these people awesome people. So you're going to get to spend the evening with them, but right now we're going to have a 15-minute, 20-minute open floor Q&A. So throw your hand up, direct your question to one or multiple. So off you go. Who wants to be first up? There we go. Yeah.
So there's some projects that clearly had a business component, and I understand it's social entrepreneurship. So there's an entrepreneurial component that I assume has to be involved. There's others that seemed like it was more of an NGO or not-for-profit. Do all the projects have to have a sort of business or a sort of economically self-sustaining component, or is it okay?
You're asking me this question.
I don't know, yeah, or anyone.
That's for SE Forum,
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, part of our selection criteria, and I know I didn't go into it in the beginning, but we received 450, actually more than 450 applications to the accelerator. And what the accelerator aims to do is actually equip our participants with the business skills that enable them to generate own revenue so that they can continue to sustain the change they're making. Actually, we don't mind if they are for profit or non-profit. Actually, we don't think that matters. Either you're a non-profit or you're a for-profit enterprise, you can still earn your own revenue. And we consider financial sustainability or potential to be financial sustainable a big criteria in our selection criteria. And they just started. They came here last week. Some of them may be a hybrid model right now, but all of them have shown to us that they have aspiration to earn own revenue. That's what we get to do.
Yeah, so for example, YouTube and YouTube have your my point because I can't remember it. So instead, some of you have ideas which coincide in some. There are some slight overlap. You have like you communicate among each other and charities with each other on your ideas, or is this a person?
So Betty, she's using some sort of diesel engine to make the carbonization in her product. She's talked to me that she needs some sort of energy source, which is the diesel is very costly in the game. She talked to me that in Uganda, she talked to me that she needs some sort of energy source or another energy source to develop that. So yes, I think we talked about it and help each other.
Yep. Actually, all of you really are amazing people, to be very honest. All of you different ideas that are excellent because you're really thinking you locally. Except for example, well, very well done. However, what I wanted to comment actually is actually Betty's project. I hope I said the name right. Because what's amazing in your company is actually that you are making a change. It's not that you are only serving maybe the end users to get better health as a startup. No, but actually you are making a middle lady to sell, to get the new to sell, and to start more businesses. Actually, this is an excellent chain reaction that you guys are doing. Amazing job. Thank you, everyone.
I have a question to the organization. Everybody's idea was very good, but probably Betty's situation could be in some other country also. Similar situations could be replicated. You said about the girls, there might be a situation about the girls, there might be the water problem. Every problem is replicated in each of the country. So why do we wait for other countries to come up with similar ideas? So how do we propagate it to other countries and parallelly work and try to start at wherever we are right now instead of coming to a good organization level and then we will understand it. Have you thought about it?
About how to send more information out there, have a broader reach.
It would be nice if they have similar counterparts like Betty in this place and another Betty in other place.
Absolutely. We'd love to reach people. It's actually we'll multiply it. We'll split you up. It'll be fine. It's actually a program we're doing. It's something called training of trainers. So we will use the information and our toolbox, and we will go to a region. We will teach a group of people like Betty, 10 Bettys, and then Betty will train over 10 Bettys, and then another 10 Bettys will train over 10 Bettys. So then you end up with like a couple of million Bettys. But it is something that we're focused on Betty. Betty's the focus, she's right beside it. But it is a program that we are doing. We don't just run this program where 8 people come to Stockholm for 8 weeks to do the accelerator program. We have other programs where it has a wider reach. We also have SE Women and other programs. But we can talk about that more after. Because it's focused as very dodge that voice very nicely. But thank you, yeah. Let's talk about that after. But we do have more projects than just one that has a wider reach.
I have a question to Flaviano. This is great. You talk about the compensation for the damage the companies are making. But during your negotiation, did you actually take another
tough term, which is how do they limit these impacts on the environment of these societies? That's one thing. The second thing, actually, you mentioned they are making from this value $40 billion a year, and the compensation they are offering $40 million. Only $40 million. Okay. But anyway, the compensation.
Give it to me.
No, I just thought that this is oil company and oil companies.
No, from that plant, from that project, 40 million.
And now they are compensating the budget with 900,000. So isn't it that if we are talking about profit here, isn't it maybe they can get more if we would go to the low curve and have some low food?
Okay, so, well, the first question, the answer is, well, that was, of course, shortened for time. Our main goal is not to obtain compensation. The compensation is just for remedy to a damage, but our main goal is to stop the perpetrated damage. Because, as they said in Mexican one community, once they say, we are buying a better life, a better death, sorry. So there's, getting money but continues to get sick is just buying a better death, nothing else. So the main goal is actually to obtain a cleaning plan and to change the extractive way. So this is not the case in oil industry, but in mining industry, it's completely the same mining firm extracting Kiruna in one way here in Sweden, and then moves to Peru and extract with a totally different process system that is much, much cheaper, but of course has a much, much bigger impact. So the goal is to obtain a different kind of extractive industries. It's not to obtain compensation. The compensation is just for remedy the damages. And actually the compensation is never, and that is a little bit of the second answer, is never in cash. I mean, less is possible in cash. Because cash in an indigenous community in the middle of the mountain forest is nothing. Or, well, it's worse than nothing. Because cash means an increasing of conflicts inside the community. It means an increasing of other problems like prostitution, alcohol, and stuff like that. So the $900,000 is actually in infrastructure. New drainage system, new source of water, scholarship for students to go study abroad. Well, in Mexico, we have obtained also a new hospital built by a mining company. So it's infrastructure for the community, and also something very important, new business generating activities. Because the mining company is alive, the mining is a mine or the oil field is alive, 10, 20, sometimes 30 years, and then so you don't have any more land because the land is used by the company. You cannot make agriculture. Mine is not there. So what do you do? So something that generates income in the future. So it's actually never. We try to avoid the cash compensation as maximum as we can.
I have a follow-up question, actually. You said that you're trying to change the way these companies work there. Doesn't that require legislation amendments, and how is that involved in your work?
So I answer. If I say this, I mean I'm anyone else. But I answered you with someone who said Kofi Annan 2 years ago in a conference in Miami. I was there. He said a mining company does not need a law to know that they don't have to pollute the water of a community. So the same company, of course, I mean, the idealistic world is that the state make a law that is more enforcement, they make an enforcement mechanism, they have regulatory system, but the same companies knows that they cannot do this. I mean, Maple Gas Corporation is on headquartered in London. Do they are allowed to do this in London on the Thames? I don't think so. So they know that they cannot do this. So it's not actually a requirement of the law to me. I mean, in this world.
To you, but to them. I mean, for what makes that? Because why they do it there and they don't do it in Europe? That's pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean,
what makes them change their behavior in Peru or Mexico or?
I also say that from a pragmatic point of view, it's probably easier that the company changed itself, that the government of Mexico would change the law. And they were talking about a government who would disappear 20,000 persons inside their own territory in the last year. No, I prefer to deal with them, unfortunately.
But then you have to keep dealing with individual companies.
Yeah, but even government here to deal with it.
Cool. Question from
Yeah. First of all, it's a real honor to listen to all of your stories. It's fun for us old guys to see the energy up there. I know funding is a major driver for all of you to be here, but I know that how you achieve that or other aspects of your business model. What is the hope you gain from these next 2 months here in Stockholm? Maybe just step out.
So Safecity is coming up with a mobile app, because that we believe would have more access to the people we wish to reach, as well as it will make the data more tangible and usable for them. And so for us, the next 2 months is to focus on making a robust application that is great in design, that will be used, and which can scale globally. So to answer your question on collaboration, there are a lot of other NGOs around the world who would like to use technology but do not have the money to invest in the technology. So we currently have opened our platform. It's free for anyone to use. And we've said, use it, go ahead and use it. And we support them with data analysis because we do have that kind of skill set with us. And we are mapping sexual violence in Nepal, Cameroon, Kenya to begin with, and open offers from several other countries. But our idea is to create this one app which maybe one day will be used by many organizations all over the world, so that all of us can benefit from it. We all travel, right? We don't only live in Stockholm, Sweden. We travel all over the world. And if we had local information about public safety at our fingertips, it would help us make better decisions.
One of the problems that most of the upcoming entrepreneurs face in my country is inability to get support, especially business development support services. So you find that much as maybe funding could be somewhere, because sometimes you go on the internet and you see calls for proposals, but you don't know how to write a proposal. And there's no way you can compete with somebody from another country who has got the opportunity to be trained. So for me, I feel being here is a very big privilege for me because my background is social work. I've been working in the community NGO world for a long time. I didn't have any background in business. So I believe this is an opportunity for me to get this mentorship, learn how to write a very good business plan, also organize my ideas so that my project is sustainable, because I believe that it's not good to wait for donors to give you money all the time. You need to learn how to sustain yourself. And our project is good. We want to see how to scale it to many people. But if we wait for donors to give us money, what about if they don't give us? Then our dream will die with us. So we have to see how we can be able to raise some money from our products to be able to scale it to other people. And we can only do this by learning how to organize our business well. And that's what we're learning here. So for the next 2 months, I believe I'll learn a lot of knowledge, skills, share with my friends. I see very bright people here. So if I can get something from all the 7 of them, and then add to what the mentor will give me, I'll go back.
We still have time for a couple of questions.
Have you wanted to start doing social media?
So yes. So what we it's actually maybe a bit different. Like okay, so we have 2 models. One is like a hybrid model where we have like a revenue initiative in order to generate kind of the funding for the other side of the development project. Actually, our ambition is to be sustainable. So be able to generate enough revenue so we can like cover all the costs for the development project. And yes, so that in order to do that business, yes, we have some marketing kind of programs. So one of them is we have social media as Facebook, and we have website where you can visit and look through. And actually, what makes me come here, actually, to answer your question too, is to step back a little bit because we have been doing it for 2 years now, and I think we need to get some time to step away from it a little bit. Look at our business plan, marketing plan, to see what we should have done better or what should we do better from now. So yes, so now our tour has been, to answer the question, has been on Facebook, your website, and we have like on some traveler forum like TripAdvisor, Lonely Planet. Yeah.
May I ask you guys to answer the question a bit louder, please? So that in the back of me. Otherwise, I have to pass this microphone.
Okay.
So, in terms of knowledge sharing, one is that there's a lot of we are being developed our internal skills, but also when we have an idea, then I think that we have an opportunity to sit back, because in our country when we start working, we are mostly all up in the day-to-day activities. So, for example, I thought of this as a good opportunity for me to add some value to what I'm trying to do. So, in terms of my case, the smart card, now that I have people, rural population having access to online websites, how about creating a web portal where the rural woman can sell and bring up their handicrafts to the website through agents, those agents that those are educated agents. The rural woman is not educated enough to put her handicraft item on the website. So I'm trying to bring some new value chains to the business model that I have developed. So this is an opportunity to develop ourselves and to work on the idea and how to create some more value that the product that we can, how to have a much greater impact. So this is, I think that the next 8 weeks should be able to, the SE Forum and our mentors will be able to refocus us on actually what where we're trying to go. Just count back there. Marius is over there.
Gary, Maria.
Oh.
Yeah, there, right there. Karen? Yeah. And I think Tom might have
Is there any other questions, or should I let you wrap these people individually and one last question? Final question.
The question is for you. When someone registers it, it's nice to see that people are volunteering to register, providing the service, and tourists coming in. How do you validate the security after the step? How do you know that the person is really good, the tourist is good, or local person is good? Okay, so it has two sides. One is to kind of selecting the borrowers from all the women in the village. So in that side, we have kind of a project in there. We work with the local women's union as a local panel. Actually, we have a team there, so they kind of manage and organize like that that kind of lending program. We are involved in, like we do assessment. So like even that if a woman is interested in taking a loan, she will register with the local women's union in her village, and then we together with the staff from the women's union come to the village and like discuss with the plan of getting the money. And this is like throughout the procedure of loan appraisal. Then we will decide who to get the loan. And from the side of tourism, actually we are operating as like a travel company. So when tourists in, we have a tour guides. Actually, I am one of the tour guides. So like we kind of like have all the information of the tourists, and we also work with the local police department to secure the security at the local village.
Thank you. Can I, just before you let everyone mingle, just want to also mention that we actually have sponsorship by a social enterprise right here in Sweden tonight. The sparkling wine that you were drinking in the beginning is MRG Wines. They believe that all events can be inclusive and it doesn't necessarily have to have alcohol. So what we do as SE Forum is support social entrepreneurs both in Sweden and abroad, and that's why we bring their wines here today also to showcase. I think you will agree that they taste really good, almost as good as the real thing. We do have the real thing also. And also, when you go and find me at the bar, I'm going to be operating the bar today, I have a membership sign-up list. Anyone love what we do, appreciate what we do, want to support what we do, and want to learn more about what we do and how we support social entrepreneurs, or if you are social entrepreneurs yourself and want our help, be a member. Sign up with us, and you can sign up with me. And that's needless for MRG Wine as well, if you want to contact them and find out how to order them.
Cool.
So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Please talk to these people if you want to talk to member staff. Carlos and myself will be around all evening. Please enjoy yourselves, and thank you very much for coming.